Hi, I'm B.Macleod. I'm going to do a quick review of Broadmead Medical Centre. I think it's really important that GPs are able to be reviewed by the public. I registered and I had my first appointment yesterday. Just going to run through some of the good points and some of the bad points for anyone else that wants to go and use the service. So it's a really, really useful GP surgery. It's right in the Boots supermarket. It's right in the high street in the middle of town, and you couldn't have a better place for a GP surgery, really, right in the centre of Boots, upstairs, and you can get to that through the Broadmead Gallery shopping centre or through the high street. So yeah, really good location. It's 59 Broadmead, Bristol. You can email them on admin@bmc@nhs.net. Postcode is Bravo Sierra 1 3 Echo Alpha, and you can phone them on 01179 549 928. I first went in to register on the 28th of January and just filled out a couple of forms. So these are the forms that I filled out. Pretty simple. It's just a biro and a couple of bits of paper on the desk. Just put in your name, your address. I have my NHS number, so I put that one in there. I'm staying at hostels at the moment, so I actually put that I had no fixed abode, and a whole bunch of other details relative to me. You just fill out the forms and then you hand it in, and then you are registered. It asks how much you have to drink, which is a relevant thing, and then I've got an appointment card with some details on there. So yeah, the registration was really simple. So I phoned up to make an appointment at Broadmead Medical Centre on the 12th of February at about 12. I spoke to the receptionist called Mark Pearce. I was on hold for about 5 minutes, which was kind of annoying, but it's not really that bad. Then when I did get through, he said there was no space until the 27th of February, so it was a 2-week waiting time to get an appointment at Broadmead Medical Centre. So yeah, not really that great. 2 weeks is kind of quite a long time. But that's probably normal for a national average. When I asked for written confirmation of the appointment from Mark, he said he couldn't send me an email, and he didn't know, even though he worked there for 2 years, he didn't know whether they sent texts out to confirm appointments, which is a little bit weird. Almost every GP I've ever spoken to has always sent me a text. So yeah, he went and checked, and he found out that he could send a text, and that didn't arrive until later in the day when I had to phone back again. Interesting as well, when I went to go for my appointment yesterday, the people who were trying to send me an email of another appointment that was being booked for in about a week also had trouble doing that. They said they'd sent it, it just didn't turn up, and they said that they couldn't send it, and they tried to defer it and say, we've given you it in paper copy, you don't have to worry about the email. Eventually, after about an hour, the email did arrive, and that text did arrive too. So eventually I got that text from the GP surgery on the 12th of February. You can see that's the text there. Dear Mr. McLeod, as requested, here's a text confirmation of your GP appointment with Dr. Wolfgang Walter at Broadmead Medical Centre on Thursday, the 27th of February at 10:20 a.m. Many thanks, Mr. Christopher Leonard, reception team, Broadmead Medical Centre. You hold it down. Just going to show you the message details. That arrived at 6:10. But yeah, like I said, the guy didn't seem to know if I could get a text reminder when I phoned in the morning, and it wasn't until I waited on hold for 15 minutes, spoke to Chris Leonard at 10:02, that eventually that text arrived through with the details there. A little bit of a letdown. So I also got a text the day before my appointment on the 26th of February, just to remind me that it was going to be taking place. This one came from NHS No Reply, which is normally, every time I've been to the GP, these is normally the sort of message data centre that you normally get them through from. But I've been getting these since 2013. So yeah, about 7 years. Every text I've ever had from a GP has always come through from that one, NHS No Reply. But the one before came through from GP surgery. I don't know if that's just unique to the Broadmead Medical Centre, but yeah, you can see that one came from NHS No Reply on the 26th of February. And this one, if you want to see the full details there, that one came through at 12:25 on the 27th of February. So that was after the appointment, just inviting me to review the details, which is kind of why I'm writing this. But yeah, text verification did come through, but the first time I had to phone up and sit on hold for 15 minutes and eventually spoke to somebody who sent the text through, and they wouldn't send an email. And when I did ask for an email when I was at the appointment yesterday, they were kind of a little bit reluctant to send it, tried to blame it on their Wi-Fi being slow and the internet being a little bit rubbish, but the email did eventually come through about an hour later. So yeah, the written verification, not that great at Broadmead Medical Centre, but it could be a lot worse. I did at least get those text messages, which is better than nothing. So I did go to the appointment at the GP in the end. I turned up there, and like I said, it's a really convenient location. It couldn't be better. It's one of the best things about this GP is that it's right in the boots in the middle of the town centre in Bristol. So that was wicked. It didn't take me very long to get there at all. When I did get there at 10:20, I had to wait for about 20 minutes, which wasn't really ideal, but you know, it's a GP, it's a doctor's surgery, these things happen. I didn't really think that was that bad. When I did get in and I went and spoke with Dr. Wolfgang Walter, I sat down with him and he didn't have any of my medical records. So he didn't basically know who I was. So there was nothing he could do. He couldn't see any of my medical history, so he couldn't make any sort of medical recommendation or basically provide any treatment. So that was kind of a little bit rubbish. I've waited for 2 weeks and the guy didn't have any of my medical details at all on his computer. He asked me if I had a discharge letter from a recent stay in hospital, and I tried to get that out of my bag for him. While I was getting it out of my bag, I asked him if he could write down his details for me, his general medical counsellor number and his name and his qualifications, and he was kind of reluctant to do that. He sort of said, like, no, I'll do it in a minute, and I didn't really understand why that was. Anyway, I gave him the details, and we chatted for a couple of minutes, and then he said that he couldn't provide me with any medicine or any referrals for treatment because he didn't have my details. And then he rebooked the appointment for in a week's time, next Friday. So basically, I went to a doctor who had no information, couldn't provide me any medicine, and just told me to come back in a week after already waiting for 2 weeks. I might as well have not have gone. I mean, I know this sounds a little bit ridiculous, but the guy just basically sat down. You know, I could have just said anything to him. Wouldn't really make any difference, because whatever the patient says, you know, about their medical history isn't valid because it's not come from a doctor. And if you can't provide treatment, I basically just sat there, completely wasted, you know, 20 minutes of my life and his, because he couldn't give me any medication. He didn't have any of my medical records, and he just told me to come back in a week. At which point, hopefully, they'll be able to have a different GP who can do all of that stuff. So yeah, not really ideal, not really the best workflow at all. I mean, if you go to a doctor and they don't know your medical records and they can't give you any medicine or any treatment, then I don't really know that they are a doctor. He also couldn't confirm whether he was a doctor. So yeah, it wasn't really that great. All of the details related to these are available in Google Drive, and a link in the description. Leave a comment, share the video, and yeah, I mean, I would say overall there are some good points about that GP, but yeah, I mean, I went there, I registered, had to wait for 2 weeks to get an appointment. They didn't send me a text through to confirm. When I did eventually turn up to the appointment, I had to wait for another 20 minutes. And then eventually, when I did get there, the doctor didn't have any of my details and couldn't provide me any medicine, and they just rebooked me another appointment for in a week's time. So yeah, it's a great GP, it's local, but the staff there aren't very good at sending text messages. If you hassle them, they will. You have to wait on the phone for 20 minutes. They couldn't send an email the first time. I asked them to send me an email yesterday, and they kind of basically said that they had, and they ummed and ahed. They tried to get me to accept that it wasn't going to come, and said, look, we'll give you a paper, you know, report, and they said that was going to be fine. So yeah, it could have been a lot better, but I would, you know, I'd probably give I'd give it probably, you know, 3.5 out of 10 or 4 out of 10. But for the location, 9 out of 10. I mean, you can't really get much more central, and if you do need to get prescriptions or anything else to do with your health, it's right in the Boots supermarket, so it's a really useful location. But other than that, yeah, the communication was really poor, the standard of healthcare was really poor. The staff were very friendly, the girls on reception were really nice, and the GP himself and the manager were reasonable. But yeah, you've got an audio recording and some other details in there, so yeah, check those out by all means. Okay, brilliant. Let me just grab the rest of my things.
Can you just drag it out so that
Yeah, that's great. Okay, cool. Okay, right. Thanks for your time. Cheers.
Oh, sorry, done. Right. If you just take the seat in the waiting room, and I'll just photocopy this, and then I'll see if I can get you an appointment, okay?
Okay, but I'm going to pop outside for a cigarette. Is that okay?
Okay, then.
And I'll pop
I
back in
don't
and
know
make
when
an
you're
appointment.
available for your next appointment, though.
Well, I mean, I'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay.
Bye.
All right. Thank you.
I'll do it as quick as I can. With the
how
appointment confirmation, it is for next week.
What? Can you just do it now? Sorry to be a pain. Like, why will it take an hour?
Well, because I'm just in the middle of
We're
doing
just in
something
another
else.
screen. We're just in the process of ordering your notes, you see, from the health authority.
But you've got a copy of it there, and it will just be the same in an email.
there's that one there.
Okay.
But I mean, it might not take an hour, but it just means I'll
Yeah, okay.
as soon as I can, alright?
Cool. So it's definitely got my right NHS number and all the other details. So when's the appointment?
It is
6th of March.
next Friday.
Okay, and how long is... it's next Friday, so that's... What's that, just over a week? Okay, brilliant.
Yeah.
And that's with Dr. Taylor.
Yes.
Can you give me the first name of the doctor?
Mike.
Mike Taylor. Okay, that's great. Oh. Mike Taylor, brilliant. Okay.
Fine, I've got the email and I'll send that as soon as possible. Alright, we're just requesting your notes.
Okay, that's brilliant.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much indeed. So you definitely don't want a PDF of the documents?
No.
All the paper copies, like I've got all the paper copies, all of them in electronic format?
No, she wants it, us requesting it
Okay.
from NHS, alright?
Alright, is that appointment okay for you?
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. I was just offering your colleagues if they wanted to have the paper copies. You know, if you want to scan the paper copies
I've
of the
already
documents, or if
taken
you
what
want
you've
them on.
given me. We don't need anything else at the moment because we can get it through the NHS. That's what we're going to try and do an urgent request. We're just doing an urgent request for it now.
Okay, that's brilliant.
So when you're in with the doctor,
Yeah.
if there's anything that we haven't got still, we may not still have it by then. I can't guarantee. You can tell him what you've got. He can decide what he needs to see rather than us just decide.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that medically that's not procedure, but it just might be useful for you in the most immediate sense to have copies of them.
Scanning everybody's patient records that they carry around with them.
PDF, USB stick, is it any use to you or?
Not at the moment. Like I say, we're trying to get it through the normal channels.
Yeah, okay.
If we need it at a later date, then we can ask.
Okay, no worries. Well, look, I've got all the
We know
details
you've
here.
got it.
Yeah, okay, that's excellent. All right, thank you very much for your help. I'll see you next Friday.
Perfect. Well, you might not see me, but you might.
Yeah, cool. All right, thank you.
Take